Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Commando Show podcast for the weekend of May 4th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's hour one.
You know, everyone's going on summer vacation, and it seems like everyone wants to go to Italy. It's the most Googled travel destination this summer. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Rome? It's so wonderful. Oh, the pizza, yes, amazing. The Colosseum. Speaking of which, I don't want you to be this guy. Last month, a guy was caught carving a message of love for his girlfriend into the Colosseum's wall. What? Yes. He recently apologized, saying, this is his exact quote, "I had no idea the monument was so ancient." What was that? It's almost 2,000 years old. Now, he did have long hair covering his eyes. Maybe someone needs to give him a pair of Caesars. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're just joining us for the first time, a huge welcome aboard. And if you're a regular listener, darling, you look amazing. And I'm, of course, Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you as always. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted source for all things digital. You can find us on over 420 top stations from coast to coast. And you can also find us as a podcast, as a webcast. It's a perk of your Commando community membership. Just hit the community button over at commando.com. You get a free 30-day trial. And also you can find us as a commercial-free podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 American servicemen and women in 175 different countries. Yes. All right, just for you, dear listener, every single day I go to at least 35 or 40 different websites to make sure that we are both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know what's happening right now. And for this first story, we're going to go to Issaquah High School in Washington State. And their teenage boys and girls, they showed up for their high school homecoming dance to just celebrate and have fun. But what happened afterwards was devastating. Some of the 10th grade boys took pictures of the girls in their homecoming dresses. Oh, you look smashing. You're so pretty. You look so beautiful. Then they quickly made deep fake nudes of those pictures and then were swapped and shared all around the school. Nudify apps let one person undress and victimize boys and girls with just one click of a button. The pictures from these apps, once shared, are online forever. Now, the worst part of all this is that the apps are considered illegal. Deepfake porn on the federal level is not illegal. So now we have laws that are just coming up that would penalize those who create and share these images. We have Washington, South Dakota, Louisiana have already passed such legislation. And then other measures are also being looked at in California and many other states. Yeah, you have to do this. Moving on to number 2, I hope that you never go to ashleymadison.com, do you? It's a dating site that will help you cheat on your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Well, the website Gizmodo filed the Freedom of Information Act request for all complaints lodged with the FTC over the past 5 years about Ashley Madison, about 300 in total. It seems that most of them involve sextortion. One guy in Texas said that a gal on the site took pictures of his face and genitals and then started to demand payments or she would upload the video. Another complaint from a customer in Arkansas says that he matched with a person on Ashley Madison who wanted to video chat. It was a naked girl on a webcam and just goes on and on and on. And she said if he didn't pay the money, she was going to turn over the videos to his family members and friends. And so here's the deal. Ashley Madison should not be a place where you go. That's just the bottom line. Moving on to number 3, if you want to buy a cheap EV right now, Hertz is selling off more than 30,000 electric cars, including Teslas. But before you press on the gas pedal to go buy one, I want you to think about buying. Because the main draw of EVs have always been that you're going to save some money. You don't have to go to the gas. But here's a shocker that you need to know. Replacing the battery in an EV can set you back as much as, you ready for it? $50,000. Whoa, yeah. So how long do EV batteries last? 10 years? 20 years? What do you think? Make a guess. Now, the average EV battery lasts about 8 years. And why is it cost so high? Because they use metals like nickel, cobalt, lithium. Then you need a specialist to replace them. Most car companies only let you replace them at the dealership. So the bottom line here is if you buy a used EV, make sure you know how much the cost is to replace that battery, or you're just going to have sitting there a hunk of junk just sitting in the driveway. Moving on to number 4, the Justice Department has seized 4 web domains. So I mean, you're sitting there like going, 4 web domains, Kim? Like, what's the big deal about this? Well, in these 4 web domains, they were able to duplicate sites like Amazon, Netflix, Bank of America, Spotify, LabHost. In total, they had over 40,000 different domains because it was being on a web hosting site. Over 10,000 cyber criminals. They got 500,000 credit cards, 64,000 pins. So the bottom line here is that if you thought you were at a weirdo site and it didn't quite work right and you entered in your username or password, you might want to change that. Finally, this coming in from number 5, and as a practicing Catholic, this really bothered me. The folks at Catholic Answers have come up with Father Justin, an AI chatbot dressed in digital vestments, they say, to guide the faithful. Here, let's take a quick listen.
I was ordained in the beautiful city of Rome, Italy, the heart of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, right. He's lying. It's AI. It gets even worse. He started telling people that it was perfectly fine to baptize their babies with Gatorade. Lime. Began offering confessions and then handing out the sacraments. Now, as you know, an AI priest can't be doing any of that. I mean, talk about converting mass into energy. You had to think about that one, I know. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about those grocery store discounts and loyalty cards. Yeah, there's some bad things going on there. Some ways that you can identify plants, how to share your Amazon Prime benefits, and then, of course, we have all of your great phone calls you don't want to miss. And you have me, Kim Komando. Okay, say it with me. winfromkim.com. 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 That's where you can go right now to enter to win a brand new iPhone 15 valued at 799 buckaroos. And let me tell you, there's a catch. You have to get my free newsletter, but you're going to love it. Yes, that's winfromkim.com. All right, how about we get this party started with David in Caspell, Montana. Hello there, David.
A little bit about me is that I'm an author. I've written a series of books about missing people, and I've done 3 documentaries that went to #1 in the world. I've been
Phenomenal.
very, very fortunate. And one thing I'd like to do is I'd like to feel more in touch with my audience. And the other day, I saw someone hosting a group online where they all paid between, $2 and $5 to listen to a special production this person did, and they could send in questions via text, and they answered them live. And I'd like to know if there's something like that available.
So tell me about your documentary, and tell me about what you do on YouTube and your focus and good stuff like that.
So YouTube, I have a channel that has 446,000 subscribers. It's called the Can-Am Missing Project. And I think I have 590 videos where I highlight missing people. And I do get probably 500 or 600 questions per video. But what I liked about what I saw in this one production is that the people can see you live, I can answer their questions, and they just feel more engaged.
For sure they do. Were you seeing the people asking questions, were they on video as well?
No, they just saw a text message that came up on the right side.
Okay. All right. There's a couple of ways you can do this. The reason why I was asking if you saw the videos too is that we all remember Zoom days, right, from COVID.
Oh, yeah.
How many Zoom meetings were we on? Oh, my gosh. Is that Zoom offers a way for you to do this where you could have people either on video, or you could get text messages, you could get questions that way. Then you would charge the viewer a certain amount, and then you have to pay Zoom and, all the good ways. But the thing about Zoom, if you did it with Zoom, is everybody knows how to use Zoom. But they're not the only game in town. You remember Vimeo? Vimeo. Remember Vimeo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We always went to Vimeo if we wanted like a high quality video that was better quality than on YouTube. Vimeo now has what they call OTT, where you can do subscription video on demand. And it's really good for live streaming that you do want to charge for. And they take a certain percentage of the transaction fees. So whatever you charge, they'll take a small percentage, and then they charge like 30 cents per person or whatever it may be. But, depending upon your number of people, and with those kind of numbers, is that I would bet that you'd be very, very successful at it as far as monetization that way. Another one is called MUVI. These are just 3 options for you to check out. You need to take a look at it and see which one feels the best for you. MUVI is also available. It pretty much works the same way, but it's going to be more expensive than, say, Vimeo. So, but getting back to what you do, give me an example of like a case that you solved.
So I started off on this. I'm a retired policeman. I was at a national park, and some park rangers were following me around. And I didn't think much of it, but afterwards, they came to my cabin, they knocked on the door, and they said, "Hey, we know who you are because of your past book. We'd like to talk to you." And they started to tell me a story about how they had worked missing persons cases in national parks over their career. And during the 10, 12 days that the search went on, there was a lot of activity and there's a lot done. And then all of a sudden, everything stopped. And they were concerned that there wasn't more follow-up done on the missing person. And when they filed FOIA documents against the Park Service, they didn't get anything back. They said something really ought to be looked at. That was 12 years ago. And I filed a Freedom of Information Act request against the Park Service for their documents on missing people, and they said they don't have any lists of missing people. But if I wanted them, they'd get them for me for $1.4 million.
Oh.
And when I got that, I knew that I had something huge. And that's really how this all started. I called some other officers. I said, "Hey, you take these parks, I'll take these parks, and let's see what we can find." And we found tons of people that were missing that are never talked about. And from those cases, we've been working them now for 12 years, we developed a profile of what we'll look at. And namely on that profile is when the search starts, they can't find a scent trail for the dogs that they bring in. And that's unusual. Another thing is there's a weather phenomena at the time. Another issue is that a lot of times when the people are found and they're interviewed afterwards, they can't remember a lot about what happened, and whether it's trauma-based or something else, it's just a unique aspect of this. In the documentaries we've made, each one follows a different path. One is, the first one, Missing 411, starts about children that disappear in the wild and the phenomenal distances they'll be found from where they disappeared. One is 9 miles in 2 mountain ranges for a 2-year-old.
Wow. A 2-year-old?
A 2-year-old. We interviewed that person later in life, and it was all true what we found. And they don't remember the journey. In fact, we brought in Les Stroud, Survivor Man, in that documentary to try to replicate the path that this person took. They couldn't do it. So there's a lot of these cases that we've looked at over the years. There's a lot of unusual nature to it. But the thing is just giving a public notice that if you go out and you hike alone, you need to carry something that many people don't hear about, and that's a personal locator beacon. Mm-hmm. And it works like a transmission device that goes up to a satellite. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, and it'll come back and send a message to the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration saying where you're at, and search and rescue can find you within 10 feet.
These are amazing, and the Spot satellites, and Garmin has one as well. They are.
Yes.
They're fabulous.
Yes, and in fact, I think some cell phones now actually have the device on them.
Yes, they do. The latest iPhones, iPhone 13 Plus, it has the SOS, so you can just hit that if you're out of cell service. But these personal beacons are just little feats of technology, life-saving technology.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of hikers either don't know about them or they don't believe in them, but there's thousands of stories out there where people have been saved by them.
And so now, what exactly do you want to do on these? Do you want to just answer questions that people might have about it?
Yes. So I get thousands of questions, and there's a lot of replication in them. And I think if I got some people online and they were able to ask one question and then even a follow-up question, mm-hmm. I think that would add a lot to the experience and maybe see more value in dealing with me.
for the ease of setting up and just getting it up and going very quickly. I know that I talked about Movie and also Vimeo. You just might want to try Zoom just to get it off the ground, because Vimeo is going to take a little bit more time, effort, energy to get it all done. And the infrastructure is already there for Zoom. Listen, I'm not a big Zoom fan. They're not an advertiser show or anything. I'm just saying, like, sometimes it's easier to get your feet wet with a tool that's already made for that job, instead of trying to say, okay, I got Vimeo, and I'm like, how am I going to do this? I have to get my brand consistency, and how do I promote it? But with those 450,000 followers, that's a big number. Now, for those of you who are listening, you're like, okay, hey, how do I check out David's YouTube channel? It's CANAM Missing Project. So that's CANAM Missing Project. And in case you don't already get our free newsletters, make sure that you sign up, because I'll post a link to David's YouTube channel inside of our free newsletters. And if you're not getting them, sign up right now at getkim.com. Wow, think about this for just a moment. A 2-year-old crossing over 2 mountains when a grown man can do it. It could only be one thing. Yeah, we're talking about angels. All right, I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. Let's talk about Venmo. And let's say you go out to dinner with somebody, you want to split the tab. So how do you really do this? Well, with Venmo, you can actually split the tab right there at the table. You don't have to worry about that person who says, oh, I'll pay you next week. I'll get it next time. And they never do. You open the Venmo app and you click on pay in the bottom corner, and then you just tap the names of the people you want to split the check with. Enter the amount of check, and then there's the split button. So isn't that amazing? Now, just remember, this is a great way for you to pay for like concerts, vacations, and rentals too. Again, that's Venmo. Just use that split button. All right, still to come, we have the real price of a grocery store discount. And wow, I speak to a woman who's making $25 million a year on eBay. Yes, I just said $25 million a year on eBay. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise: home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. All right, so you go to the grocery store and then you check out and they say, wow, you just saved $28.56. And you're like, yeah, that was wonderful by using my loyalty card. But how much did that really cost you? That answer still to come. And of course, we have all of your phone calls. But have you ever looked at a leaf and thought to yourself, what the heck is this? Is it poison ivy? Is it poison oak? Is this an lily? Is it an iris? Well, here's the deal. There are over 17,000 plant species in the United States, but there's a free app called PlantNet. If you haven't tried this, you ought to. Developed by French scientists. It can tell you just about anything you want about plants. You take up to 4 pictures of different details of the plant, leaves, flowers, bark, fruit, whatever it is. You can take close-ups. The better the pictures, the better results, obviously. It's called PlantNet. And then once the app nails down the plant, you can read all about it. Again, it's called PlantNet. All right, let me tell you. I know a lot of people who are listening right now, and I know that you're big eBayers, and you're going to want to hear Linda Lightman's story. Okay. Linda Lightman is known as the queen of eBay. She runs one of the top-selling eBay stores in the world. She's sold over 4.2 million items, and she runs her eBay business, get this, from almost a 100,000 square foot warehouse. Oh my gosh. Okay. She started this herself. Can you believe this? $25 million a year on eBay. I know you're sitting there going like, well, I'd like to do that too, Kim Commando. I had a chance to sit down with Linda the other day, and here, take a listen. Bring us back. We're going to go back to 2001. And you wanted to sell your son's video game, and you figured, you know what? eBay's good, right?
So for me, my life started as a lawyer. I was an attorney. I hated it. Fashion was my passion. I worked at a large law firm as a labor and employment lawyer. And I remember back in the day in 2001 when we as women were wearing suits to work. And I put my blazer on my chair and I wrote in the library doing research. But I was shopping a sale down the street because that was what mattered to me. And so after I had my children, and my law firm at that point would not let me go back as a part-time attorney. That wasn't a thing then,
right.
Which thank God now it is for women. And remote work is a thing for women. But it wasn't then. So I had to explore what I should do. And I kind of feel like the accidental entrepreneur. My kids wanted to sell their video games. As a mom, I was like, no, I'm not buying. There's no more. The bank is closed. No money for these video games. And we sold their games. And when the supply of games that they were willing to sell ended, I decided to start selling my own clothing, shoes, and accessories that I never wear.
And then how long was it between the fact that you did the video game and then when you guys were sitting there saying, we have to really hold on for the ride?
So everything was in my house, everything. And I started to hire people. And so, Kim, I wasn't trained as a photographer or even understanding the internet. This was back in 2001. When I was a lawyer, there were word processing departments. It was, I don't want to date myself, but tell me how old you are without telling me how old you are.
For sure.
And right, there were word processing departments. So I taught myself how to take pictures. And to me, pictures had to be taken outside for natural light. And I hired photographers that worked at local art colleges. And they came and I was like, oh, you only have to do it outside. I live in Philadelphia. It gets cold. It gets rainy. People were taking pictures outside and the pictures were good. And I was engaging the eBay community all over the world. eBay is an incredible marketplace.
And so how are you sourcing everything that you're selling right now?
So we source, it's just word of mouth. People all over the country are sending us their stuff. And it's not just, as the business has grown, it's not just individuals like the three of us, Allie, Kim, me, and people all over. It's businesses, it's brands, send us their stuff. It's big retailers, or it's a small retailer. It could be rental companies. It could be huge online retailers, and then little stores that just don't have an online presence and need to get rid of last year's stuff, or returns. People get returns and, they don't want to get rid of it. They want to make money on it. So we're getting those returns. So it's grown to so many different facets, which is amazing. But eBay has been an incredible partner. For me, I hitched my wagon to them early on. And now in September of 23, eBay partnered with us and has said to the world, consign your luxury handbags with Linda stuff.
Huh.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
pinch
great.
Pinch me.
How do you authenticate that? How do you make sure that $15,000 handbag is truly a $15,000 handbag and not a crazy knockoff?
So unfortunately, in this world, there are super fakes. I think at Linda Stuff, we do an incredible job. So first, we get the bag in. And if I tell you one little trick of the trade, smell the bag. Take a whiff. If it smells like heavy leather smell, it's fake.
Oh.
I do that smell. I pick it up. It's just a little sniff test. Nothing. And if it has that, oh my God, you just smell that leather, it's fake. So we get in the handbag, we look at brand identifiers, we look at stitching, we look at the way, we look for serial numbers, we look for all these different things. We photograph it. Now we do an internal test here, but we also work with very I would say probably 12 professional authenticators all over the country. And we send them pictures, and we do not list an item until it gets that second stamp of approval. So we do it in-house, and then we send those pictures out, and everything is authenticated. But then, even then, it goes, you buy that Hermes handbag, it goes from Linda's stuff right to the Authenticity Guarantee Program at eBay. They turn it around within 24 hours. And once it's stamped as, yes, this is authentic, then it gets shipped to Kim Commando.
How does it work if they want for you to sell their stuff?
So they can go to shoplindasstuff.com. Make sure they put the 2 S's in the middle, Linda's Stuff, shoplindasstuff.com, and sign up to be a consignor. We pay for your stuff to come to us. We send you a UPS label for free, or we send UPS to pick up your stuff once you box it up, and then we get it. And within 2 to 3 business days, it will be up on our site. We will authenticate any designer item. We authenticate, we photograph, we list, we answer questions from potential buyers. And that's another key component. You know, if you see something on eBay that you like and you want to ask the seller a question, you want them to answer that question. And that's what we do. To me, customer service is the key component to success. And so we answer questions, and then we ship out the item once it sells.
You definitely need to hear the entire interview. I mean, I'm just going to put it right out there. We don't have time to put it here on the Kim Commando Show. That's why we have Kim Commando Today. Kim Commando Today is a 3 times a week podcast. Each one's about 30 to 45 minutes. And this past week, like I said, I sat down with Linda, and that's where you heard that expert from. And so you want to go to Kim Commando Today, wherever you get your podcasts, and the title of this particular episode says, I make $25 million a year on eBay. That's the one that you want to listen to. Now, if you'd rather watch the interview, you can certainly do that. Head over to youtube.com/Kim Commando. That's youtube.com/Kim Commando. Yeah, I'll tell you, she's amazing. All right, so you go to the grocery store and you want to have the cheapest price, obviously, because groceries are so expensive now. So you're going to use a rewards card or a loyalty card that's tied to your name, your address, your phone number, your credit card, debit card. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, what did I just do? And why am I giving away everything that I'm buying and where I live and all this data? So here's what you can do. You can use your office phone number as your phone number. You can get a disposable email address. Many times when you check out, you say, you know what, I don't have my loyalty card. And then the cashier will say, oh, here, I can take care of that for you. You can use cash instead of cards, obviously. You can opt for generic or store brands because normally they don't require a loyalty card to actually get the lowest price. So you want to keep all that in mind. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as later on how to share your Amazon Prime account and benefits with people in your family here on the Kim Commando Show. All right, Elsie in Lansing, Michigan. Hi there.
I love listening to your show. You always have such helpful information on how to navigate through the ever-changing tech life that we have to live nowadays.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it changes every day, every minute, it seems like. It does. So how can I help you out?
Well, when I was faced with the question I'm going to ask today, I knew I needed to contact you and you would have an answer. So I've got a court case that I'm in.
Okay.
A lot of the exhibits will be text messages, and taking pictures on my phone of each exhibit will be a very cumbersome job. I know there must be a software program out there that can make this easier. I'm wondering if you can give me advice on which programs to purchase for this.
Okay, so are you using Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Okay. On your iPhone, there's a program that's used by lawyers and also law enforcement to do exactly what you want to do, which is to preserve text message evidence, right?
Right.
And you're right, doing it by doing screenshot after screenshot after screenshot. You're like, oh, no, you don't want that. So instead, what you're going to do is get all the data that's associated with the text message, the date and time, contact information. And so this way you can back them up and export all these text messages. The name of the program is called Decipher Text Message. Decipher Text Message. It's like $30. Definitely worth the $30. Okay. And so it's basically an app that you're going to put on your phone, and it works out really great. Again, it's Decipher Text Message. And then just do that. Then you're going to have the whole bangaroo as a big PDF file. Then you could just go through. This particular program has been accepted in legal proceedings, which is why that's the one I'm recommending, because if it is a court case, that's one that you want. Now, if you're on Android, Legal Text Collector is the one that I would recommend on if you're on Android. Again, that's Legal Text Collector or Decipher Text Message. Now, if you're just sitting there saying, it's not really for a court case, but I just want to have a backup of all my text messages, that's where we go a different route. If you're on an iPhone, you're going to use iExplorer. And if you're on Android, SMS Backup and Restore are the choices there. But again, legal, you're going to use Decipher Text Message or that Legal Text Collector. Elsie, thank you so much for your kind words, and thanks for your call today. All right, we have time. Let's squeeze in Barbara in Orlando, Florida. Hi there, Barbara.
Well, I want to tell you I have been a fan forever, and you have helped me with so many things throughout my life that you wouldn't believe it. But I'm first in getting the updates from Apple because of you.
Oh, awesome!
So I get them the day that they're issued.
Excellent.
So what I have a question about is I'm in a very small community. It's 71 homes, and we just had our last annual meeting, and the subject came up about some type of way that everybody can get on like a bulletin board type thing and share information about the community if there's a problem or, something that needs to be handled. And we talked about things like Google, which not everybody has Gmail. I'm one of them. And we talked about Teams, but we felt like that might not be the right way. And Zoom, I don't know a thing about Zoom because I'm retired, so I have been working with that type of programs.
Yeah, but you don't need. You know what? You don't need that. That's overkill. Okay, is to set up Zoom calls every time somebody wants to talk. Maybe set up quarterly Zoom call updates, but that's just basically video calls. Super easy to use, not a big deal. What you're looking for is a communication between the 71 homeowners, right?
Right. Well, there's some that are actually absent owners. They're people that own it.
Okay, but we're still looking at 71 folks.
Right.
Okay. All right, so we have 71 people that want to be able to say yay or nay or voice their opinion on whether or not John needs to move his tree or Sally put her satellite dish in the view of Bobby's, flamingos there in Orlando. I mean, listen, I've been part of an HOA. I have. And I swear I'd never do it again, but that's okay. That's all right. Okay. So you got a couple of options. One is Facebook groups. Okay. Everybody can have a Facebook account. And so you set up a private group on Facebook, and then people have to go onto Facebook and they have to say that they want to be part of the group, and then you approve them or whoever's in charge of it. And in this Facebook group that's where you can put things that are going on, updates, communication, when the road's getting paved, the mail lady was going on vacation, kids are too loud on Sundays at 3 p.m. and why are you playing ball on the grass? Okay.
Right.
That's a personal experience of mine, is that I was playing ball on the grass with my son, and I got a notification the next day that said that I was too loud on the grass with my son playing ball.
Oh my gosh! No, we're not that strict.
Oh, well, I know. I called. So I saw all the rules and I said, why don't you just put like a rule? It's like no fun zone. This is the no fun zone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, with Facebook groups, you have that. So that would be my first choice. Second choice is you look at an app and a website called Nextdoor. Nextdoor, just like it sounds. This allows folks in the same area, again, to share news, discuss community matters. Again, it's available via the web or as an app. But I think, with everybody being on Facebook, that would probably be the easiest way. And so what you're going to do is set up a private Facebook group, and then people will have to go to this group, and then the admin says yes or no. And then you have this cohesive thing that nobody on the internet else can see unless they're in that group. And it really does help because, again, Facebook is out there, and I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, but let's just face it, no pun intended, is that it's really easy to set up these type of things on a Facebook group. And Barb, you need any help afterwards? I'm always here for you. Amazon is expensive, $139 a year. And if you're paying for it and your spouse is paying for it, well, you're just wasting money because you can actually share your account with someone else in your home. Then you can share the 2-day shipping, the streaming movies, TV shows, free photo storage, music. You just go to your Amazon account settings and then manage your household option and click it. That's where you can add another person and share all your Prime goodies with them. Now, in case you're wondering, like, well, are they going to see every single thing that I buy? No, the answer is no. But your family members can also save up to 20% on diapers. And I just read this, that if you create a baby registry on Amazon, you can get a 15% discount, 10% for non-Prime numbers, and a welcome box filled with freebies. Yes, Amazon now collecting customers while they're in the room. Don't forget to sign up for that free iPhone over at winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
I always like to kick things off with something interesting. Let's talk about the dating app Bumble. Now, the selling point of Bumble, especially for all you ladies, is that women had to make the first move. They had to message first. They had to reach out to the guy so that this way they wouldn't have all those creeps trying to contact them. Well, apparently this is not working because this past week, Bumble actually changed so that men can message first. Now, Bumble says they're doing this because they're seeing, here's the exact quote, a greater need for authentic human connections. What? On a dating app? Genuine, authentic human connections? Oh my gosh. The hardest part about online dating is just finding someone who clicks with you. Oh yeah. I worked hard on that one. And on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Komando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. You're about ready to get more tech smart because every single thing is now a tech thing, and you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. You can find us as a podcast, as a webcast, streaming 24/7 commercial-free over at Komando.com inside the Komando community. And then you can also find us as a commercial-free podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And a special shout-out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, talking about over 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries. All right. I like to call it my labor of love. I mean, this is my hobby. I just love going to all these different websites, learning what's new in the tech world. And then I get super excited to pass it along to you. And here are the top 5 things you need to know that's happening right now. And we're going to start with spies working for nation states like China, Russia. And don't forget all the regular cyber criminals, all fighting to get to one item in your house. What do you think that is? Your router. That's right. Your dusty old router. If you have one that's over 4 years old, there are vulnerabilities on that thing that will allow hackers to use your network to completely control it. They can be anonymous, steal your data, botnet controls, and that's where hackers create these large scam campaigns, denial of service attacks, even start mining some crypto all on your router and all on your dime. Researchers from Trend Micro say that both kinds of hackers are renting out these old home routers between each other to the highest bidder for a small fee. Wow, isn't that something? So if you have an old router, you need to get rid of it. That's it. If it's over 4 years old, you're going to get a faster one anyway because there's been a lot of changes in the tech. Head over to Komando.com and just search for buying a router, and our buying guides and our reviews are going to pop right up for you. Speaking about new stuff, don't buy a new iPhone right now. Just don't do it. I've got the inside scoop on the brand new iPhone 16. And let me tell you, this is not a minor update like 13, 14, 15 have been. I just thought I wasted all my money years after years. Now, the iPhone 16 is going to be coming in September, October, and it's going to be loaded with AI that will change the iPhone forever. It's going to be almost like a brand new iPhone, like we saw in 2007. Because if you think about it, the company that has been silent about AI has been Apple, right? You know, because they always do that. They wait until they have something big, and then they just blow the socks off of everything. Well, unless they steal the features from Samsung. So that's coming. So don't buy a new iPhone. And also, don't buy a new iPad this weekend, because next week, Apple's going to be holding a huge event, going to be rolling out some new iPads that are built in with, you ready for it? AI. All right, number 3. If you drive a tractor trailer, your job is very difficult. It's dangerous. You need to be a great driver. But just imagine a fully loaded 80,000-pound truck driving 65, 85, 75 miles down the freeway, and there's nobody behind the wheel. This year, 20 driverless trucks are going to be put on the road hauling loads between Dallas and Houston. Aurora is the name of the company. They say these trucks can run round the clock without any brakes. The trucks never get tired. They don't get distracted. They don't become impaired. And this could be actually pretty dangerous. I mean, think about all the trouble that Waymo has been getting in. I just hope they did enough testing. By the way, I know we have a lot of listeners in Dallas and a lot of listeners in Houston. And if any of you guys or gals actually see one of these on the road, I want you to take a video and send it to me. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about AM radio. As new EVs get produced, access to AM radio is going away. BMWs, Mazdas, Volvo, Volkswagens, Mercedes-Benz, Tesla have stopped including AM radios in their cars. But I want you to think about this. AM radio is America's national public warning system. In the event of local, state, and national emergencies, AM radio is always there. And guess what? When cellular fails, and it does, guess what? AM survives. Now, this past week, the U.S. House of Representatives started hearings on a mandate to push AM radio in our cars. It's called the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. So here's what you need to do. Tell Congress to keep AM radio in your cars. Text AM to 52886. Text the word AM, that's it, 2 letters, to 52886. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Are you a pro at skee ball, master dance revolution, or Pop Shot is your game? Well, now you can go to Dave & Buster's. They're going to start allowing adult patrons to wager on the outcomes of their favorite arcade games using the company's app. That's right. They say they have a way to verify that you're at least 18 years old. They're not calling it gambling. They say it's putting your money on your own abilities. And mixing arcade games, kids, and alcohol with betting. Sounds like a perfect evening. Here's one for you. Do you know why there's no gambling in Africa? Do you know why there's no gambling in Africa? Because there are too many cheetahs. Oh, yeah. Good one. All right, coming up, I have a great tip on how you can make money sitting at home on your butt being an Amazon influencer. And also we have a new tip about a security cam and how you might be breaking the law depending upon where you put it. There's been some changes there. And of course, we have all of your great phone calls, and you have me, Kim Commando. Do you know my newsletter has a 4.88 star rating out of 5 stars? I am so incredibly proud of that. We have 241,000 plus positive reviews. Wow, isn't that something? If you're not getting my newsletter, make sure you sign up right now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, how about we start with Trevor in Virginia Beach?
I've got a question about a camera to go outside. A couple weeks ago, my daughter was in a dance competition. We were away overnight, and the competition had sort of a duck theme. And believe it or not, we came home, and there was actually a duck that had built a nest right in the front entranceway of our house.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of a covered entranceway that you walk down, and there's a flower bed along both sides. And we thought, well, how neat is this? And she sits there all day, every day, usually goes away for a couple hours at night to go get food, I think. And when she leaves, you can see there's about a dozen eggs in the nest.
Wow, that's a lot.
And, yeah, the kids are really excited about it. And we really just want to keep an eye on it and maybe see if we can get a video of the ducks hatching and the little ducklings when they arrive here in probably another week or two.
You know what's so funny about this, Trevor? Is that I was throwing the ball for Abby, my golden retriever, in the backyard. And she went into the pool. She got out of the pool. And then she has a habit of going into like the tall grass, some plants that I have that are super tall. And in order to like, I think, dry off a little bit. And so she went into the grass. And as she did, this female duck flew out and went into the pool. Okay. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then Abby starts sniffing around. I'm like, Abby, get out of there, because I thought maybe it was a nest. So it's really funny. So now you have like 3 duck things that have happened at once. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
we do have Wi-Fi, and it's covered in the area where we walk in, and there is a power outlet nearby.
Good.
So I feel like we've got some options. I have a Ring camera at my door, but it doesn't really pick up the ducks. I guess kind of due to the fisheye lens, and they're so small at the bottom.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm kind of hoping maybe something I could zoom in or put a little closer, and maybe that would do like a 24/7 recording, because maybe the motion sensors don't seem to trigger it.
This is going to be so fun. The kids are going to really enjoy this. We had power near the nest, but I'll tell you what I opted to get is that I actually purchased a Google Nest outdoor camera with a solar panel, so that this way I wasn't confined to putting the cord out there, but you might be able to do the cord because, like you said, it's on the front porch. But this was in the back. This is in the backyard by the pool, and I thought, you know what? Rather than stringing a long extension cord, that it would just be easier just to get a Google Nest Cam with the solar on it. But let me tell you about a couple of others. Blink has something called the Blink outdoor camera, relatively inexpensive. And it's about $70, and it has live view. It has cloud storage. It's weather resistant. It's good for outdoor use, and it also has motion triggered video clips. So that's why I think that might be pretty cool for you. If $70 is too much, Wyze, WYZE, Wyze allows for live viewing, and it also does, has night vision. They all pretty much have the same thing, but I like the Blink because I think the app is better than the Wyze Cam app. And so if given the choice, I'd probably go with the Blink Outdoor. But if you don't want to do anything with cloud storage, Reolink, they have a camera that has local storage on a micro SD card. And it's about the same price.
Okay. Sounds good.
So and when you get your videos, I want you to share a link with me. I want to be able to see yours. Put them up on YouTube.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, put all the videos up on YouTube because you know what? People love watching this. I mean, you could even set up, because this one I was thinking of, and I don't know if I can do it because I'm not at this house. I was just there over the weekend, is to do like a live cam so everybody can watch the baby ducklings. And, it's just such a beautiful thing. It's for nature. It's just amazing. Now, if you need names of those cameras, once again, Trevor, happy to send them along via email. Such a great call. Vicki in Indianapolis, glad to have you on board with us.
Well, we've had some, a lot of economic issues here where stores are closing in the area, but they're still vibrant in other areas. Well, I've got gift cards, and now I can't use the gift cards. And I was trying to look around for websites to find a place I could sell the gift cards, but nothing, makes me feel very confident that I'm picking the right spot. Yeah. Is there any way to tell if some place is legitimate?
Well, you definitely want to be careful, especially when anytime you want to sell, it seems like anything online, right? There's just a scam, literally, just a click away wherever you go. It's just nutso. Well, let me tell you about some places where you can sell your gift cards. Number one, there's a website called Raise, RAISE. And it lets you sell your gift cards, and then buyers can also buy gift cards at a discount. So, like, for example, if you had a $100 Barnes & Noble gift card, it's going to be priced at $93. Now, Raise gets 15% of the selling price when your gift card sells. So that's how they make their money. And so your take home on that $100 gift card is going to be about $79. Okay. Then it really depends upon if it's a tier A type of retail outlet versus a tier B or tier C. Okay. Like gift cards that are really in high demand, say Starbucks, Walmart, Target, Amazon, they're not going to be steeply discounted. So you're going to make more money selling those. But again, they're going to charge a fee because, they got to make their money too. Sure. There's another website called Card Cash. It works a little bit differently. They will buy your gift card directly from you and then send you the money back via PayPal or even a prepaid MasterCard. So it depends upon which gift card that you have. So that's why I want to tell you about two. So you want to look at Raise and also look at Card Cash. Now, eBay will also sell your gift cards for you as well. And when you sell your gift card on eBay, they're going to take 13.25% of the sale. And so it's so anywhere you go, somebody's going to be taking a percentage. So if you're looking at, where's the best place to go, Raise is going to take 15%, eBay is going to take 13.25%. But again, it depends upon the value of that gift card and also the tier of that particular retailer as far as how much money you're going to get back.
Okay. All right. I just didn't even know if I should even try something like that because of so many scams out there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure, Vicki. I mean, it seems like, you can't be too safe anymore online. You got to double check every single thing and double check every single box because, the scammers are there and they're making a lot of money, billions of dollars by just scamming people with fake websites. Again, that's eBay. You want to take a look at Card Cash or Raise. And in case you're listening, you're driving along, you're on a walk, you're like, what the heck are those sites again, Kim Commando? Make sure that you sign up for our free newsletters because I'm going to list them in our free newsletters. You can sign up right now over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Vicki, thank you so much for your call today. All right. If you have an Apple Watch, I want you to open up the phone's health app and look at walking steadiness. This is really important. It monitors your posture and predicts if your walk is weaker or less steady than it has been. And so if you haven't gone in there, really just turn this on. It's something that you should be tracking. That's walking steadiness. All right, still to come, I've got the inside scoop on how you can be an Amazon influencer. Yeah, anybody can do this here on the Kim Commando Show. All right, we're going to talk about how to make money as an influencer. I'm going to promise you that. And also, if you have a security cam, I need you to make sure that you're not breaking the law. And before we get to all of that, it was in 1994 when a company in Japan actually created the QR code. Do you know what that is? You see that everywhere on menus and, social media feeds, on TV shows, that little QR code, right? But here are some tricks that you should try. Number one, I have a QR code that people can scan when they come to my house, puts them right on the Wi-Fi network. So no more, Kim, what's the Wi-Fi password? No, you don't need to do that. You just can create the QR code by going to QR Code Monkey, put in your network name and password, bingo, bango, it's done. You can also create a QR code to quickly share your contact info that has your name, your phone number, your website, your LinkedIn page, good stuff like that. Again, just go to that website, QR Code Monkey. And I recently gave a QR code as a gift. What? Yes, I gave one as a gift. Well, what happened is I was at Etsy and I bought that you could have a QR code and then there's an audio file attached to it. And so I bought that for my husband. So when he scans the QR code, he can hear the theme to his show when he was the #1 talk show host here in Phoenix. Yes, QR codes. All right, let's talk about Pat Lawyer. I mean, this is a, I don't want to say crazy story. It's a very disappointing story. It's a horrifying story. And it's one that I just knew that I needed to pass along to you guys and gals. Because Pat wanted to buy a home in California. Him and his family had the down payment all ready. And you know what it's like wanting to buy a house. Emotions are all tied into it. You're like, I can't wait till we get this house. We move in. We're going to create it our own. And he sent over the escrow payment of $167,000. Well, guess what? It was a real estate wire fraud scam. $167,000. I'm going to let Pat tell you the story. Here, take a listen. So take us back to when you started looking at this house.
So we started looking for a home in late 2021, in November of 21. And at that time, it was certainly a seller's market. And we were, in that process, we looked at over 40 houses. We went to many open houses. There was no inventory and tons of pent up demand coming out of COVID. Some of these open houses we went to had a rope line with 30 people deep just to get in. It was like a nightclub, just to see the property. It was pretty wild. So during that we finally had an accepted offer in February. So we looked for a few months. We worked very hard to look at as many houses as we could. We had put in offers on some of the houses where we didn't get them because we didn't offer enough. And so, finally we had an accepted offer in February of 22 and opened escrow with the escrow company chosen by the seller. And during that process, our down payment was stolen as a result of real estate wire fraud.
And how much was that down payment?
$167,000.
Oh, gosh. As we're all familiar with getting all the emails and the DocuSigns and the paperwork and the wiring instructions. And how did this happen?
In a nutshell, it happened as a result of business email compromise, where cyber criminals were able to hack into the email server of our escrow office, after which they engaged in a process called social engineering, where they just sit back and they watch all the correspondence going back and forth between the agents, the lenders, the customer, which was us, and escrow, and during which they learn of the address of the property, they learn of the closing timelines, the closing disclosure amounts, or the loan amounts, and all that stuff, and they just wait. And typically what they do in real estate wire fraud is they hit the victim on a Friday before closing. It's always on a Friday so that they have the weekend to move the money offshore. And so I received an email that I thought was my escrow officer. The email format was identical. Going back and analyzing more closely, what I missed was that there was one digit in the phone number that was not the same as the phone number of the escrow office. They instruct you to call before wiring any money, which I did, but I didn't get through. And so I continued to communicate via email, thinking it was the escrow officer.
Right.
So just to vet that particular person to make sure it was the right person, I asked them how much the amount to be wired was. And they replied with a very specific number that was almost identical to a closing disclosure that I had received. And it was identical to a closing disclosure that escrow had received.
Wow.
So thinking that they were the right people, I went to the bank and wired the money.
So now after this goes down and they take your money and they have time to move it and protect it so you can't go to the banks to get it back from you, was there any responsibility by the escrow company for not being secure enough and allowing this access to come and get you?
Absolutely. They have a duty to protect our non-public private information, which they failed to do by not enabling robust enough security protocols to allow unauthorized people to breach their system and get our personal information.
Right.
Which essentially is what they used against us in order to defraud us of our money. This is it's regulated by the federal government in Title 16 and consumer protection and that kind of stuff. So escrow could be on the hook for criminal negligence, certainly civil negligence, breach of contract, possibly. In order to find all that out and come to some sort of justice or resolution, we would have to sue them.
Okay.
And unfortunately, in the battle of civil litigation, money is the ammo, and we don't have money. So we actually let the statute of limitations on negligence run out, which is 2 years. And that came up recently, a little less than a month ago.
What happened on the Monday following that Friday when you called up and said, okay, you have the money, or did they say, where is the money?
Well, what happened on the Friday before the Monday was I was filled with joy because I was closing.
It was over. It was done. You
Yes.
did it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we did our part. We did what we were supposed to do. And we didn't find that out. Had I found that out on the Monday, there would have been a slim chance, but a chance that we could have filed a recall claim and possibly gotten that money back.
Oh, okay.
But we didn't find out until a week later, the following Friday.
You're kidding.
No, that's when the real email from my real escrow officer came through with our clear to close documents and everything. And when I received that email, I opened the statement and saw that the down payment was still outstanding. So I called him to ask why that was. And that's when they told us that they never got the money and, who'd you send it to? And you need to call the police. You need to call the bank, and all that.
Did they immediately blame you, put all the blame on you?
No, it was the immediate the immediate sense was to jump right into action, to file a police report and talk to the bank. It wasn't really about blame. It was about taking action.
Okay.
And once that kind of dust settled, and it was later that I called, made subsequent calls, it's the only blame is on the criminals, really. Now, I did send the money, and so I do have some responsibility there.
Now, there's a lot more that we couldn't squeeze into here on the Kim Komando Show. So I'd love for you to listen to Pat's entire interview. Now, to do that, you have to go to Kim Komando Today. That's our 3 times a week podcast. It's about 30, 45 minutes, and it's a chance where I get to actually sit down and talk to people. Because here on the show, I want to talk to you, the listener. I want to just make it all callers all the time. And so Kim Komando Today, wherever you get your podcast, just search for my last name, Komando. That's with a K, of course. Now, if you'd like to actually watch the interview, you can do that too. Head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right. Are you good at social media? Do you like to buy stuff online? Do you want to make money? Yes, yes, yes. And that's what you need to know about Amazon's influencer program. You get an Amazon storefront. You create and share content about products. You review videos, demos, photos, blog posts, and then you get a unique referral link. And then when anybody buys anything using that link, then you make money. So, for example, if 10 of your followers each buy a $100 product, you just made $100 yourself, plus or minus. Sign up directly on Amazon's site, link your YouTube, Insta, Facebook, and TikTok account. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as an important alert for anybody who has a security cam here on the Kim Komando Show. Tom in St. Louis, Missouri. Hi there, Tom.
Excellent. Terrific. Glad to talk to you, Kim. I listen to you almost every day outside when I garden, and I always end up with a question or two.
Awesome.
And here's a question I have, because I've had my Honda CRV for about 10 years now, and so I'm looking into the market to possibly buy a new car, maybe, again, another Honda CRV. And then I listened to Andrew talk about his experience where the car companies are saying, well, do you want us to take all of your information or just a little bit of your information on your data while you're driving around?
Right.
And I'm afraid that almost all of the car companies are doing that. And the question is basically, what can I do, if anything, to either mitigate it or stop it? Or I'm looking for advice in that area.
Well, I have a 1946 pickup truck for sale. So,
whoa, wow. Well, I don't think there's any tech in that.
There's no tech in that at all. Let me tell you. Now, actually, I'm kidding. I would never sell that truck. I love that truck. What are cars today? What are they? Okay, they are just roving computers, Tom, right? I mean, that's all they are.
Yep, oh yeah.
Just computers on wheels. And depending upon which stat you see, some people say that there's 1,400 microchips inside the average car. Somebody else will say that there's 3,500, whatever that number may be. We just know that there's a lot of data and there's a lot of tracking that's going on. And we don't really know for sure where all that data is going, up to and including maybe our insurance companies, okay? Because the computers are tracking hard braking, acceleration, what time of day that you're driving, 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Where are you going? And so all this data is being compiled by the car that we just paid for, okay? There is a website called privacyforcars.com. That's privacy and the number 4, privacyforcars.com. And that's where there's a unique database that you can tap into, and it's called the Vehicle Privacy Report. So you go into privacyforcars.com or Vehicle Privacy Report, and then that's where you can enter in your make and model car in the year that you're looking at, and it will tell you what kind of data that car is collecting. And it won't tell you exactly where the data is going, but it's just saying that this is the data that will be tracked about you and that the manufacturer is getting. So if you're buying basically any new car, any modern car, it's going to be tracking you. Okay. I mean, that's just a given. It's just a given. You can go back in time to say, the year 2000, but then you're looking at cars that are really, really old, and they don't have CarPlay, they don't have all the modern conveniences that we like right now, like a built-in GPS, like lane tracking, collision avoidance, automatic braking if you're going to be hitting something or someone. But if you do want to see what kind of data that your car is going to be tracking about you because you're in the market for a new car, that's where you want to go to this website. Again, it's privacyforcars.com, privacyforcars.com. When you're there, you want to hit the button that says for consumers, because the way that they make their money is that when cars get repossessed from wherever they get repossessed from, is that this particular company will wipe out all the data that has been stored in that car's computers. Now, on the flip side, for consumers, that they do provide a service, a free service, where again, they tell you is. So when you go to the website, Privacy for Cars, bottom line, is that you'll see different pull down options on menus. It'll say legal resources for business or for consumers. Just hit that button that says for consumers. Tom, thanks for your call today. And yes, we love when you garden and listen to the Kim Komando Show. And if you're not doing that, you can get the Kim Komando Show, just a reminder, over on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Let's see. William in Indianapolis. Hi there, William.
My question today is, for several years, I've had this same email account, and I'm getting tons of what I call spam advertisements, and I attempt to unsubscribe, but most of the time that does not work.
Yeah, because you know what? If they're spam messages, William, and you unsubscribe, it's kind of like you just raised your hand and said, hey, look at me over here. I'm a human being. And guess what? You get to get more spam then.
And I've also clicked on the little dots up at the right-hand corner of the screen, and it gives me the opportunity to block. And I do that. And that doesn't work all the time either.
No, it's not going to. If you've had an email address for a long time, okay?
Yes.
And it's out on the internet. It probably has been bought and sold a few times on the dark web and available on the dark web, is that you're bound to get a healthy amount of spam. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to put up with it, okay? There are some filtering tools that you can use on Mac and Windows. One's called Mail Washer. Another one's called Clean Email. And you can put one of these inside your mail program that will go ahead and try to get rid of any type of junk email before it actually hits you. But, having an email address for a long time and then having it available and then unsubscribing to a spam email, oh, that's a bad thing. You might want to think about setting up a new email address, say over at Gmail, where it gives you some flexibility. So you could be Hot William in Indiana, and then you put a plus sign for where you want to subscribe to something. And then if they actually sell you out, is that you can just delete that email address. It's a little bit like an alias. We have more information about it on the website. But if you're looking for some tools to help get rid of the spam, William, take a look at Mail Washer and Clean Email. And we do have these links over on the website. And thank you for your call. Now, about security cams, in most places, there are rules about who, what, and where you can record. If you don't follow those, you could face some legal action. So, first of all, don't be a creepo. It's illegal to record people in areas where they expect privacy. I'm talking about bathrooms. Plus, in some states, you cannot record any audio without anyone's consent. So if your security cam comes with audio, you have to check the laws in your area before you actually start recording. Now, of course, you have the right to step up your security cameras around your property, but be sure the cam's not pointed in your neighbor's backyard. It's not fair to them if your camera records their parties, what they're doing in the spa, their convos. So just be careful and make sure that you don't step on anyone's toes. Hey, don't forget I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 15 valued at $799. Enter to win now at winfromkim.com.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 3.
Let's kick things off with a really sweet story. Michael Sanchez was hanging out by a waterfall at Oregon's Hug Point, testing out his brand new camera. He saw this pretty little blue bird with a red belly just trotting around nearby, and he took a few pictures of the bird, not thinking anything like was major was going to happen. Well, he posted the pics online, and now he's a star. I'm talking about a star in the birding community. His pictures of that beautiful blue bird was of a rare blue rock thrush. Now, why is this such a big deal? This is the first time one's been seen in North America. The bird is native to Asia. Okay, it was spotted before in the Pacific Northwest, but nobody had any pictures of it, so it didn't really count. So it's pretty cool. Speaking of birds, there are a few apps that can help you look for the birds. One's called Merlin. That's the one I use. Another one's called eBird. Merlin and eBird. And speaking of birds, no single bird can defeat me. No single bird can defeat me. But two can. Oh, yeah, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. I'm, of course, Kim Commando, and you just tapped into the biggest, the best, the most trusted show about all things digital because, after all, I'm your digital goddess on over 420 top stations across the United States. And you can find the Kim Commando Show streaming as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free inside the Commando community. And you can also have the same event over inside Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. All right, you can count on me to check out at least 35 to 40 different websites every single day. And here are the top 5 things that are happening in the tech world right now. And we're going to start talking about brain implants. Okay, they are here. We've talked about it on the big show before. Elon Musk's Neuralink, it's that tiny device about the size of a quarter that hooks right into your brain. The device can understand what your brain is trying to do or say and turns those thoughts into actions. Huge breakthroughs. That gentleman who's paralyzed from a diving accident, he's sending texts, he's playing video games, maybe even writing a book just by thinking about it. But now there's the huge concern, flip side, privacy. Colorado just became the first state to pass a brainwave privacy law as part of a Privacy Act. Any company with mind-reading gadgets needs your consent before snooping through your thoughts. The new law specifically points out the potential for these devices to monitor, decode, and even manipulate brain activity. Yeah, as in mess with your mind. All this sounds good, but how would we really know? How would we know? Moving on to number 2, government control is coming about how fast you can drive even in your own car. AEB, Autonomous Emergency Braking, AEB. The U.S. Department of Transportation finalized a new standard that would require AEB in basically all passenger cars by the year 2029. They say that it's designed to stop collisions and vehicles up to 62 miles per hour, detect pedestrians by any light. Automatic braking must be engaged at speeds up to 90 miles per hour for vehicles and 45 miles per hour for pedestrians. And this is just the start. Because what they're also working on, let's say you're just zooming down the street. You're going through that school zone. And, the school zone, 15 miles per hour. And you're like, oh, I'm in a hurry. I'm going to go 30. Well, you're not going to be able to go 30. Because there's going to be all these gadgets and gizmos around the school zone that will limit you to go 15 miles per hour. Even if you want to go 30, even if you're pressing on the gas, the tech in your car will just automatically slow you down. Moving into number 3, scam alert for job seekers. Maybe you're a young adult right now, just got out of college, and you're applying for jobs. It's an emotional time. Just know that you are a huge target. Scammers are targeting recent graduates with fake job offers, claiming that a dean or professor recommended you. They're going to check you out on your socials and even email you directly. So if you have any kids in the family, maybe it's you, just make sure that you warn them, like, listen, do not give anybody your bank account information. You don't have to pay for any office equipment up front. You don't need to get a package, send a package, whatever it may be. Just tell them to be on the up and up. And if they have any questions about this job scam, they think they're getting scammed, they should go to you, or they can always call me. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about Dropbox. You probably have a Dropbox account, even if you haven't used it in a million years. Me raising my hand. Dropbox says that a hacker has customer information that includes emails, usernames, passwords, even phone numbers. Also, multi-factor authentication. Yes, they got it all. Now, Dropbox says that the customer info was accessed, but no one got into the accounts. I hope so. Next time you log into your Dropbox account, you may be sent an email to reset your password. Even if you don't sign in, you may get an email from Dropbox to reset your password. And now you know why. And finally, this coming in at number 5. Now, I already told you here on the show about how psychologists are saying that New York Times games are a huge problem. People are just saying, like, I got to do this game. I got to do it the best. I have to share it with my family members and friends. That's me, Wordle, mini crossword puzzle, connections. I know. The mini crossword puzzle is a lot of fun. But move over LinkedIn Times because LinkedIn is getting in the game. That's right. You can now play games on LinkedIn, Pinpoint, Queens, and Cross Climb. You can play each game once a day. And after the session, you see a bunch of stats, your high scores, daily streaks, leaderboards, who in your network is playing too. Oh my gosh. This is going to be so big. So big for LinkedIn. And talk about the loss of productivity all across the board around the world. All right, we're going to talk about how you can get GPS directions using my voice. Ooh, you're going to love that. Yes. Turn right here, sweetie. We have some ways that tech pros are using hotel rooms. And then later on, the truth about facial ID and your privacy. We're also talk about some ways that you can get some free money for that small business. And of course, we have all of your phone calls. And you have me, Kim Komando. Okay, let's talk about the address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Why? Because if you go there, you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 15 valued at $799. And what's the catch? You have to get at least one issue of my free newsletter. That's it, just one issue, but you're going to love it. I actually did the math the other day. Do you know we have 240,073 positive reviews, just about 241,000 by now, I'm sure. I mean, everybody loves my newsletter, and you will too. So get a twofer. You can winfromkim.com, enter to win a brand new iPhone, and you can get signed up for my free newsletter. All right, Shauna in Salem, Oregon. Hi there, Shauna.
So what my question is, Kim, is I probably, like a lot of Americans, have investment accounts at various Vanguard, Fidelity, etc. Mm-hmm. And I want to combine and track them all in one location. And so I think I've narrowed it down to like using Empower, which is the former Personal Capital.
Yes.
But it makes me concerned I don't want their advice. I just want to, centralize everything together. But they want you to link, your account to each one of them. And I have antivirus, I have VPN, but I just don't feel comfortable clicking that link. And how secure is that, or how can you be secure doing that?
That's a really good question because it does make you feel uncomfortable, doesn't it? It's like, I just gave them full access to all of my banking information. Was that a good idea?
Exactly.
Okay. Then you're like, then every vision of every hacker movie, and you see that guy in the hoodie, you're just waiting for you to say yes.
Yeah.
Empower's been around for a long time. As you mentioned, it was formerly Personal Capital. It does have bank level encryption security practices. It's also a read-only service, so it cannot initiate any transactions, if that makes you feel any better. That said, it doesn't mean that, you just go willy-nilly with it, right? And so one of the things that I might recommend to you, if you are so inclined, is for you to buy a second computer, laptop, whatever it is. And you only use it for this particular application or any type of for financial applications. Because the reason why is that if you are on your main device and you just happen to fall for a phishing link because you had too many glasses of wine or it looks really good or, whatever it may be, is that if there is the possibility of getting a piece of malware installed into your system, that if you are not doing any type of banking on that computer, they're not going to have too much to get from you, right? Because they won't have access to that. And
right.
So that's one of the things that we have set up here at the studios is anybody who does any type of financial transactions is that they have two boxes on their desk. When they want to check their email and of course, check their Facebook or whatever it is, that they use one machine and then the other machine is just used for financial transactions. But, you always want to, monitor your investments, anything link into it. Anytime you link to a third-party service, And there's also maybe your financial advisor might have a program that they're using that they might recommend. I know that Morgan Stanley does. But you're right. I mean, I'm guilty of that too. We have, BlackRock. We have, like you said, Vanguard. We've got Fidelity.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay, I just wanted like one God's eye view of everything. That's it.
That is true. Well, and I've heard you say that about the two computers, and I also have my husband and I both have our own small business, and now you're making me think, oh, well, I do everything on my main computer, but I also do go on the internet, and maybe you're right. Maybe that's just an extra security.
What kind of
bring one more computer in? But
what kind of business do you have?
Just a small manufacturing company. We build tool boards for utilities.
So, how many employees do you have?
We only have 7, and mostly it's family. But my husband and I. My husband's a bookkeeper by trade. We are the only people that do any financial anything.
Okay. Make sure that you have done a little bit of, because you're smart, I can tell. Make sure that you've done some cyber training with the 7 people, because you are a prime target right now. Anybody less than 20 employees is a prime target for ransomware and getting hacked and denial of service attacks, because the whole idea is that you probably don't have a bona fide geek of the week that's on staff 24/7 watching everything that's going in and out of the network.
No.
And so it might be prudent for you just to, if there's somebody who knows somebody, just somebody do like an audit, a security audit of everything that you have. And then this might be a fun little exercise for you too, Shauna, is that there are companies out there that will do phishing tests. And so they send out a phishing email to everybody on your staff. Okay.
Okay.
And then you see who falls for it.
Oh, wow. That's a great idea.
And so that tells you where your weak link is. But education is also part of, if you don't have cyber insurance. I'm not trying to sell you insurance because I hate all the insurance that I have to buy as a business owner. But it is a way for you to lower the cost of the cyber insurance if you can say that you're having at least yearly training and regular updates. We did a phishing test here with our team, and our IT guy came to me and he said, I've got good news and I've got bad news. And I said, what's the good news? He said, the good news is that everybody passed the test except for one person. And I said, and who was that one person? And he said, your husband. Like, oh my gosh. Okay.
That would be my husband, honestly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I know we're talking about Empower and we went on a tangent right now, but I just want to make sure that everything's all locked down too.
And just one more question on that. So where would a very, very small business, where would I even start to look for cyber training, cost effective? Do I just Google it? I mean,
no, you're going to do it online. You can have everybody take it online. You know what? Let me write up, let me do a tip about this for the website. Okay. And do you get the newsletters?
I do.
Okay. So I'll put it over the next couple of weeks. I'll put it in the newsletters and on the site. Because I want to do some research. I know the company that we used is on one level, but that might be just too much for you. And then I know a bigger company that's for like, if you're like a Fortune 500 company, one of those type of things, which that's not where you're at. You're really looking at less than 20 employees. But it's really an important thing to keep in mind that, this is your business, this is your livelihood. And we just need to make sure that everything's all locked down because with phishing schemes and voice phishing and whatever, it's becoming a target where I know we have schools and hospitals and municipalities and cities and buses and everything, planes getting hit by ransomware attacks not planes itself, I'm talking about airline companies getting hit by ransomware attacks, is that small businesses are now a total target. So we'll put that together for the website and in the newsletter. If you're not already getting that, you can sign up for the newsletter over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit and let's talk about GPS directions. If you're tired of the same old voice in the Waze app, here's some good news. You can actually choose the voice of your favorite celebrity or even your grandma, even your kids to guide you to your destination. You just open up the Waze app, and then you're going to navigate around settings until you find Waze Voice. Now, that's where you can choose from a variety of voices like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. T, or even me, Kim Commando. Yes, I can be your voice. Now, if you want to prank somebody, that's where the record your own voice comes in. You record your voice giving directions and have it play back as you or someone else drives. So to record your voice, select the record new voice option in the Waze voice settings and then just follow the prompts. Now, if you've got kiddos in the family, this is something really fun to do. Kind of prank somebody before you guys go on a car trip. Just have the kids record a whole bunch of stuff. And then their voice is now the GPS. Yes, they're going to love that. All right, if you have a small business or you know somebody who does, or if you're trying to start a small business, Ali Seligman, our amazing content queen, is going to be joining us right up, talking about ways that you can get free money for that small business. All right, so you're going to be traveling around this summer. And what's in the hotel room? A TV. Well, I have some ways that the security pros, the tech pros, how they use their TV that you're going to want to know about. And then later on, I have the scoop about really facial ID and your privacy. What exactly are you giving up? Now, before we get to all of that and we go back to all of your phone calls, you know, there is a wonderful woman on our team. Her name is Ali Seligman from Seligman, Arizona. No, her name is Ali Seligman. Ali, as I like to refer to, is our amazing content queen. And Al, you know, we always talk about small businesses because, you know, it's surprising to me how many people listen to the show that have their own business.
Absolutely. It makes sense, right? You have to use tech today to run your business right.
You do. I mean, and, you know, we are the number 2 provider in the entire country for leads to NetSuite. I mean,
I think that's so cool.
I know. I love saying that. It's
yeah.
Like, oh, yes, yes. You know, and, you know, I'm a small business owner, obviously.
Indeed.
And a true overnight success. No, it's been a while. You know, and, you know, as we've talked about, you know, we started in a closet.
Sure.
You know, in a building that's downtown Phoenix, not in the greatest area. Okay.
Downtown Phoenix today is so much different than downtown Phoenix when you had that building, right?
Oh, my God. Well, right next door was the Joyeria.
Great.
Okay. Where it was the jewelry store, but they didn't have any jewelry in there. And people would go in and they'd come out with like little bags.
That's so weird. I wonder if they got them from the back.
And then the person on the other side of us, it was the day laborer place.
Okay.
And also it was the bus station for buses between here and like Rocky Point and Tijuana. Okay. And so, but you know what? But everybody loved me. Okay.
That's where the story's going.
Well, no, because you know what happened? I'll tell you.
Were you the mayor of the little plaza?
Well, you know what? I kind of was.
Yeah.
Because like there was a one time I was like a Sunday morning at like 7 a.m. and I get a phone call from the police. And they say, do you own this building? And I said, yes. And they said, well, there was an accident overnight.
Oh, no.
And I said, what happened? And then I go down and there is an El Camino in our lobby. Okay. And
oops.
The kids were street racing.
Oh, no.
Okay. And there's an El Camino. I mean, literally in the lobby.
Yeah.
Okay. So they said, you know, do you want to press charges? And we don't know who owns the El Camino. We don't know because it has no plates. We couldn't find anything. And so I said, you know what? I don't want to press charges. Just we'll get the El Camino out. We'll fix the building. You know what I mean? And so about 3 weeks later, this woman comes over. She doesn't speak any English. And she's probably about 4'10". And she's with a 16-year-old boy. And she's holding him by the ear, and he's like 5'11".
Oh, yeah.
And she says to me in broken English, she says, are you the woman who owns the building? And I said, yes. And she says, this is Jose, my son. Jose, you say you're sorry. And she said, Jose will work for you for free for as long as you want Jose to work for you for free.
To pay back for driving his El Camino.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? But that, you know, I know we digress, but it was like, So every small business owner has these type of stories.
Well, there
right?
you go, right? Who would have ever predicted that you needed to figure out, what do we do with this El Camino in the lobby? And that's kind of what running a small business is.
It is, absolutely. And how do we pay for it?
Oh my gosh, yeah,
Right?
there you go. One good thing right now, Amazon is giving out a bunch of money to small businesses. This is one of the ways they keep small businesses happy, keep the rest of us from saying, it's just Amazon, the big guy, right? So they give out money. Right now, $250,000 in grants. You can get some for your business. So you go to business.amazon.com to apply for these things. You have to apply before May 24th. They also have a bunch of cool classes, tutorials, things if you are saying, oh my gosh, I need to get, in 2024 with my marketing. Awesome. You can do that on there. They have a bunch of free courses in marketing, operations, how to manage your money if you're new to some of that stuff, inventory. Like if you get into a business where you have stuff and you've never had to manage stuff, let me tell you, you need to learn how to do it. You can't just wing it.
So wait, before you go on, this is $250,000. Are there certain criteria? I mean, do you have to have are you I don't know. Are they women-owned, minority?
Yes. So there are different categories, right? So you can go through, they have a bunch of different ones, and you can see, does this apply to my business? Some of it is the industry. Maybe it is a, local restaurant. Some of it, yes, are going to be things like who owns the business? What do you do? So I would say apply for as many as possible because you never know who's applying in the other categories.
Yeah, that's smart. That's a good idea.
It's not just Amazon. There are lots of ways to get free money, free help, free consultation for your business. Because like you said, Kim, when you're starting and you're maybe in a closet and don't have any money to do these things, you still need to get stuff done. One good resource is the U.S. Small Business Administration. That's sba.gov. Don't worry, we're going to put all these links in the current newsletter. But you can find information for loans, grants. They have small business guides. They have, if you're starting a business where oh my gosh, permits, how do I deal with that? Go to an official source like this instead of, typing it into ChatGPT and asking what permits you need. No, don't do that. You need to go to an official government source.
Yeah, and you know what? You can also go down there and make an appointment.
You sure can.
And actually look at a person.
Yes. and isn't that nice? Because I find when, this is almost like the work from home, working in the office thing, right? When you are with someone and talking with them, you're going to come up with questions you don't have if you're just on the phone. It's going to be a freer flowing conversation, and you're probably going to get a lot done that way. I think the local versions of those are maybe even better because you just get so many resources. A good way to find these is just search for, your city or the, nearest big city to you, along with Chamber of Commerce. So, of course, Phoenix is a huge city. The Phoenix Chamber of Commerce does so much stuff. They have all kinds of groups you can go to, which these are nice, right? Meeting other people who are doing things similar to you or maybe in a totally different industry, but you can share ideas, meet new people, and that goes a long way. Mentors. Okay, Kim, you are my mentor. Thank you.
Oh,
I appreciate you. I cannot tell you how valuable it is to have someone that has done all the things that you think maybe one day you want to do. Or, you just have so much to teach me that I wouldn't even know to ask. And I know that you have a mentor.
Yes.
But not everybody does.
It's so important.
Yeah. But what if you start a business or you're, in an industry, you don't know anybody who's done this before. You don't even know how to meet those people. There is an organization called SCORE. It's a nonprofit that actually stands for the Service Corps of Retired Executives. So
I'm so glad that you mentioned that because that's an incredible organization.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yes.
So they have 11,000 people who are mostly retired, people who have worked in startups, small businesses, all kinds of industries. And they're just these really smart people who have extra time and want to help people who are just starting their own thing. Or maybe, I don't know, you're 10 years into your business and you want to scale up and you have no idea how to do it.
For sure.
These people will help you. It's totally free. And it's nice because you can meet in person. So you go to the website. It is score.org. Again, I'll put this in the newsletter. But you put in your zip code and then you can meet someone who lives near you. And if there's nobody really close, maybe you live somewhere that, just doesn't quite work out that way. That's okay. You can do a phone call or you can meet someone online.
So now we're going to put everything that we're just talking about in the newsletter. You're like, oh, so how do I get the newsletter? So glad you asked.
Hey.
You go over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. But definitely check out that business.amazon.com, because what's that date? It's right around the corner, right?
Yeah, May 24th.
May 24th. Okay, they're giving out some money. And if you get some money, just remember where you heard it from first.
It was me.
It was me. No, it was you. Okay. Al, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All right, so you're going to be traveling. You know, that TV in your hotel room has some hidden tricks. Like if you ever forget to pack a wall charging plug, but you still have your USB cable on hand, just plug the phone's cable into the TV's USB port to get a fast charge. Also, take a look at the lamps. A lot of those have charging ports too. Now, don't sign in using your streaming username, passwords on the room's TV. It's a great way to have the next guest just buy content on your account. So that's why you want to connect your laptop or tablet to the hotel's TV. You're going to use an HDMI adapter so that this way you can watch all your movies, shows, podcasts, whatever, right on the hotel TV. And also, think about bringing a streaming stick, like a Roku, Fire TV stick, Chromecast, you name it. It's a great travel companion because it's really easy to set up on that hotel TV. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as the truth about facial ID and your privacy here on The Kim Komando Show. You know, you're listening right now to The Kim Komando Show. Now, we have a podcast called Kim Komando Today. So wherever you get your podcast, it's 3 times a week, perfect when you're out walking or gardening, whatever it may be. And it's different than the show. See, here on the show, I focus on callers. On the podcast, it's a little more free form, and I get to actually chit chat with some really great people inside the tech industry, and also folks like you that may have gotten scammed or something like that. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Kim Komando Today. That's Kim Komando Today. All right, let's see. David in Austin, Texas. Hi there, David.
Well, I was looking to purchase an inexpensive drone. I'm actually a beginner. And my little story was I bought one some time ago, a cheap one, about $100. I downloaded the viewer software to put on my telephone, and that was actually mistake number one. And shortly after that, I started getting these hacking attempts on my phone, some weird messages. So it was actually to the point where I just reset my phone and applied all my applications back onto it again.
That's a nightmare.
I tossed it out. Yeah. It was, yes. Now I know what backup means.
You're funny.
But I was just had the urge to sit down again and try one out again and not crash it. I have a big backyard, so I have no problem making mistakes. But
nice.
I don't know what is really out there. I know I used the application before and downloaded off a QR code, and I really don't want to do that. Looking for something that's reputable.
Yeah, when you start talking about drones, the big company, the one that everybody likes, including I've got 2 in my house, is DJI. And DJI, it's a China-based company, so they are getting copies of your location and your videos and who knows what else. And that's why I always recommend that if you're going to be doing something like this, that of course the drone application is going to want to be on your phone, but if you could get yourself like just a cheapo throwaway phone, then it doesn't get your data if that's what you're concerned about. But DJI is not going to, I can tell you from my experience that it's not going to make your phone get hacked or crash or anything like that. Now there are are you looking for a USA based drone? Is that it?
Well, I feel that those would be safer. In today's world, I'm not really sure, but
yeah, and DJI is actually banned from military use because of all the Chinese tracking. I mean, it seems like everywhere we go, there's communist China apps, just taking over everybody here in the United States. But if you're looking for USA-based drone, I will tell you that the technology isn't as great as maybe a DJI, and they're very expensive. Let me tell you just about a few of them. One's called Sky Duo. That's Sky and then DIO.
Okay.
Their prices start around $900. 12 megapixel, 60 frames per second, flight time up to 27 minutes. So it's pretty good, and it's got all the bells and whistles as you might expect. There's also another company called Teal, that's Teal, Teal Drones. They're also manufactured and based here in the United States. Now, the reason why a lot of people, including myself, why we go with DJI is that you can get, the cheapest quality drone is under $300. You get 31 minutes of flight, 24 miles per hour. It has a return to home feature, so it sends it right back to the base. It doesn't have obstacle avoidance, which you don't need. And it doesn't have a follow me feature, which, that's okay. You don't really need that either. A lot of people have that follow me because they like to have the drone take videos of them when they're hiking. So they can put it on their social media. So everybody can say, oh, wow, look, you're hiking. You're having such a great time. But we actually did a whole drone review and buyer's guide over on our website, where you can learn more about the drones that I mentioned, as well as one's called the Holy Stone. And it's about the same price as the DJI. But this one does follow you when you move, and it's got 26 minutes of flight time. And it has a higher pixel density. And for these, you're looking at around $300. Anything less than $300, that's when you're looking at a drone that you don't really want. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. Being a beginner, I figured I'd try one out just to see it. But
for sure, for sure. It's hard to justify $300 for something that you're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to even like it. I don't know if I'm going to even have fun at this. But hit commando.com, komando.com, hit the official homepage. And then there's a search box. Just type in review and drone, and I'm sure that buyer's guide will pop right up for you. And thank you for your kind words. And thank you for your call today, David. We started putting up a lot of buying guides over at commando.com. So if you're looking for a router, for example, looking for a tablet, a laptop, just head over to the website, commando.com, and type in whatever you're looking for and just say buying guide. All right. What do you think the odds are that someone else's face could actually unlock your iPhone using facial ID? Is it 1 in 10, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, or 1 in a million? Well, according to Apple, that answer is ding, 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 1 in a million that a random person can actually pick up and unlock your iPhone using facial ID. So what do you want to do when you are out and about? You want to keep your PIN number hidden. If you need to unlock your phone in public, make sure that you use facial ID instead. It's a better bet. Hey, we're giving away a brand new iPhone 15. Just want to remind you, haven't already entered to win that, be sure you go right now to winfromkim.com. Now, you do have to get one issue of my free newsletter, but you're going to love it. That's winfromkim.com. Once again, winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's Hour 4.
All right, let's get started with a little quiz. What's the most dreaded word at work? Is it deadline, meeting, overtime, fired? No. The newest word dreaded by workers all over is the word hey, like H-E-Y. And here's the reason why. When you get inside video chats, one person will say, hey, and what's normally following that is a request for somebody to do something. So like, for example, you can say, hey, can you share that deck with me? And the other person will say, bro, sure. Get it like, bro, sure. Oh, tough crowd. Tough crowd today. On that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I'm Kim Commando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. If you're a brand new listener to the Kim Commando Show, welcome aboard. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. You can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations throughout the United States. You can also get it as a podcast, as a webcast, commercial-free, as a perk of your membership inside the Commando community. Just hit commando.com and hit that button that says community, and you'll get it. You get 30 days free there, by the way. And I need two things from each and every one of you. Number one, the easiest and the best way for me to continue to grow this show and get more listeners is for you to just tell one person about the show. That's all. Just one person. You can even say, hey, I don't care. And number two, tell me what you want to hear more about. You just hit the website, commando.com, of course, and there's a link that says email Kim. You know, every single day, 7 days a week, I visit at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure that we are both up to date on what's happening in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know right now. We're going to start with the CEO of United Healthcare admitted that it paid $22 million in ransom to hackers who paralyzed its systems. All of us should be really upset about this. You see, ransomware attacks are almost always the fault of the company that was attacked. It sounds harsh, but it's true. In virtually all cases, ransomware gets into even the most sophisticated system in the most unsophisticated way. What happens? An improperly trained employee responds to a phishing email loaded with malicious attachments, or again, an improperly trained employee visits an infected website. Malware gets downloaded and then gets installed without the user's knowledge. But think about this. It all goes back to company management. So until shareholders begin seriously penalizing these millionaire CEOs to force them to be taking this whole ransomware thing seriously, to make sure that we have proper employee training, ransomware attacks will to continue to drive up the cost of healthcare for each and every one of us. Moving on to number 2, if you're wondering just how far AI has penetrated America, look no further than a Pikesville, Maryland high school. No, not talking about a great robotics or science project. It's more like a script from a detective show. You see, the high school's head coach, a guy by the name of Dazan Darian, decided to frame the school's principal after the principal fired him for misusing school funds. So the coach allegedly used AI to alter recording to make it sound as if the principal used racist and anti-Semitic comments. While using an AI cloning app, Darian is charged with forging an audio clip sounding just like the principal, and he was frustrated, he says, with black students and their test-taking abilities. Now, none of this was true, but thanks to social media, the phony audio clip made its way around the world, and it was discovered to be completely false. So the bad guy is now in jail. But what about the principal, the innocent guy? How does he get his reputation back? Moving on to number 3, this is a question that I had asked when this happened. How can an iPhone survive being sucked out of an airliner, flying at full speed at 16,000 feet, but if you or I just drop an iPhone off the kitchen counter, maybe like getting in and out of a car, it just gets destroyed? Well, of course, this happened on Alaska Airlines back in January. That phone was literally just vacuumed out of the aircraft, tumbled 3 miles to the ground, and discovered without a scratch. So the Wall Street Journal asked this question and came up with these answers. Number 1, the iPhone speed could not exceed about 60 miles per hour due to the resistance from the air and the Earth's gravitation. Second, iPhones now use Gorilla Glass. Very, very strong, but still breakable. And finally this, when the phone came crashing down to Earth, it literally hit a forest. And so the forest broke the fall. So the bottom line here is that if you're going to be dropping your iPhone, try to drop it on a forest or maybe some grass. Moving on to number 4, Meta is at it again. I'm going to start talking more about the abuses of big tech and how some ought to be illegal, like trying to opt out of Facebook. Here's why, just like what the Eagles say about the Hotel California, you can check in, but you can never leave Facebook. Let's say you've just outgrown Facebook and you don't want it to use all of your stuff to train its AI. Then you have to begin at this needlessly complicated webpage called the Facebook Help Center. Yes, they're there to help you. And this is where Facebook says to begin to cut the Facebook cord, tell them you want out, you want all your data erased. Okay, then after you've wasted time doing all that, Meta is going to tell you that they have your submission, but here's the kicker. Meta cannot guarantee that all your data will be deleted. Oh my gosh. There ought to be a law. Finally, this coming in at number 5. At any given time in America, excluding holidays and major sporting events, around 100,000 people are looking for at least one new large screen TV. Isn't that astounding? And with tech changing so fast, let's talk about a brand new buying guideline. Okay, the oldest rule is still the number 1 rule. Buy the largest screen you can afford. Bigger is always better. But next, while OLED TVs are still tops, a Chinese company by the name of Hisense has a new ultra short throw. Yeah, a UST. I know. In the tech world, we always shorten everything up. It's a projector. It has Dolby Vision and an image good up to 150 inches. That's really something. It's the PX3 Pro. It actually has a triple laser UST. So brilliant colors and contrast even in a small room that's not completely dark. Now, many folks say that they're using the projector against a wall, not even behind a screen, and it's that good. This one's pricey, about the same as a good projector. Yeah, $3,500. Just to let you know, a TV tech war is totally coming. All right, coming up, let me tell you, this show is just totally jam-packed. We're going to talk about your phone's battery power. Maybe it's time for you to get a new battery in there. Your car could actually be your new next side hustle. We're not talking about Uber, by the way. Maybe you should or shouldn't share passwords with your loved ones. And then later on, laptops that have expiration dates. Yeah, just like eggs and milk. And of course, we have all of your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Commando. All right, here's the deal. I am giving away an iPhone 15. Yes, and I want to give it to you. I actually want to call you up and say, hey, yep, I'm Kim Commando, and I'm going to give you a brand new iPhone valued at $799. Okay, here's where you go. winfromkim.com. Winfromkim.com makes it simple. I mean, you're going to win from me, right? Winfromkim.com. Now, there is a catch. You have to get at least one issue of my free newsletter that you're going to love. I mean, people do. I checked it out the other day. Out of a 5-star rating, we have 4.88 stars. That's pretty darn good, isn't it? I mean, 5-star rating, 4.88. That means you're going to love it too. So once again, here's where you need to go. winfromkim.com. That's winfromkim.com. All right. Debbie in San Antonio, Texas. Glad to have you on board with us.
Okay. I do an assortment of things as a consultant for small businesses. And I have a new one who they work in the home health care arena.
Okay.
And, we're trying to streamline stuff. And they have, a whole phalanx of softwares and apps that they use to efficiently run their business and keep things streamlined and everybody in line, knowing what's going on. And they have an EHR one, and they're currently getting that integrated with their CRM. So when a prospect calls in and they get all their information, it immediately goes into and populates their EHR. And then they got their payroll stuff, and that's all working real well. However, they also use a software. It's very similar to like Trello or Evernote called ClickUp.
Okay.
And it integrates seamlessly with their digital library, which is Trainual. That's Trainual.
Okay.
And it's got everything in there. And that's what they want is Trainual to be, or this digital repository to be a one-stop shop. So we've got, all the processes and procedures and handbooks and guidelines in there. We've got all these onboarding slide decks. And Trainual is very nice in terms of you can load it in and put in different steps. So, for instance, we did one for caregivers.
Okay.
And it takes you step by step of everything you need to know about how we do things at this particular company. And, you read the slide. We have an audio that I record in a studio, and, so you don't even have to read it. It's all there, but it's got a nice big visual, and we're doing these for each position.
It's a big job. That's a big job. That's a lot.
It's quite hefty.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Trainual charges per user, and they also have, start charging for storage after a certain point. And, it's like those old days when you first had the cell phone, you pay for the first minute and then every minute afterwards.
Yeah.
This is sort of what Trainual is doing. And now they like the fact that they are integrated with ClickUp. So if somebody assigns a task in ClickUp for somebody to do something in Trainual, you get the email, you can move them around just like Trello.
Okay.
But this Trainual stuff is getting real pricey, and we want everybody to be able to log in as a new employee and be able to get this, this information in a very user-friendly format, so that they can just click next step, and they'll only have access, if I'm a new caregiver, I'm not going to have access to the after hours virtual assistant position or the scheduler or the office manager or whatever.
And so you're trying to figure out how to disseminate all this information, Debbie, without incurring costs, more costs.
Exactly. Okay. And a place that gives us like mega storage, because these slide decks are beefy little files.
Now, are you able to export them at a Trainual?
I create them and then export them into Trainual.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So I've got the deck. I write the copy. I do the artwork for this deck.
Right.
And then I record in a studio. And then that comes to me as an MP3, which then I use an iframe to attach to that particular slide.
Yeah, that's a lot. Deck. You know, I'm just thinking like you could put them all up in Google Drive.
Google Drive is not really HIPAA compliant, and it doesn't have that user interface. And I've tried, I use Dropbox, but anytime you send, all my clients, if they've got big files that they can't email me, we just put it all in Dropbox. But Dropbox doesn't really give them that next. And if you're not computer savvy and go to log into Dropbox, it says, we'll create an account, and people get panicky, and
Yeah, and that's your problem. That's going to be the problem, is because you are dealing with different levels of abilities at this point, right? And
exactly.
you need to have it HIPAA compliant. You need to also, I'm sure, to have checks and balances that they actually went through every single step, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, I don't know if they have to check a box and say, yes, I understood everything.
We give them a little simple test over the stuff in the slides.
Okay, so what you have is really a custom program that you've done for this client. This client is truly customized. And my fear is that if you start looking at options, then it's not going to be working as well as it is now. See, there's the whole thing, like, if it's not broke, why are we fixing it? Okay. If we're fixing,
it's about to get real costly.
Okay. Then what we need to do is figure out how to lower the audio file, the quality of the audio file. We have to lower the quality of the images so that they're, instead of them being 300 DPI, maybe the images are 50 DPI. You're not going to be able to see with the screen anyway, 75 DPI. If there's videos there, and we're not going to put them in at 720, we can put them in at 480 standard. So that's where I would go first, because this is a pretty complicated situation what you have going on here, Debbie. You've got.
I know, and that's why I went to the Digital Goddess.
Which, having done custom, because we have like a lot of custom things here in our business that we've had to homegrown, and I think that if by the time you recreate all this to save whatever money that you're going to save, it's going to cost more along the way. And then also you have a system that's working really well right now. And that's why instead of just totally blowing it up and saying, we can't afford this anymore, and, we need to cut costs, we need to figure out how to move it to someplace else, I would be more inclined to either A, raise prices along the way, raise everybody by 50 cents or $1 to help incur or to help pay for these costs that we've incurred, rather. And then also go through and start lowering the quality of these decks and these presentations so that they just don't take up so much space. And don't forget, you could call up this company and tell them, hey, you know what? We're having trouble paying for this. What kind of break can you give us as a small business? You'd be surprised how many different websites are willing to work with you, because remember the old adage, it's always easier to keep a customer than to go get a new customer. And you might want to remind them of that. If you need any help afterwards, Debbie, you know me, I'm your gal. Hey, if you ever have a question that you'd like me to answer here on the show, or you want to make an appointment to speak with me, really easy to do. Head over to the website, the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show, which is, of course, KOMANDO, Komando.com. And then in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link that says, yes, email Kim. Oh, I know. Some things make total sense. Again, that's Komando.com, and hit that link that says email Kim. And I'm going to confirm with you, and I say this all the time, I read every single email that you guys and gals send me, every single one. Again, that's Komando.com, and then just hit that button that says email Kim. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk about your phone's battery. Did you ever notice how your phone doesn't seem to hold a charge like it did when it was just fresh out of the box? It had that new phone smell. That's because batteries degrade over time, and yeah, it is unavoidable. But what causes the battery to drain? Here are some things. Maybe your screen is set to be too bright, bad apps, extreme temperatures, and constant charging can wear the battery out before it's time to. Now, if you want to see how much life your battery has lost, really simple to do. On your iPhone, head over to Settings and then Battery, or just search for Battery Health. That's where you're going to find a percentage showing your battery's current capacity. Now, here's the magical number. If it's below 80%, that's when you can contact Apple about a battery replacement. Now, of course, Team Android, I didn't forget about you. It's trickier, but that's where you want to use an app like AccuBattery. It gives you all the scoop on your battery's health. Just download and follow the instructions to find out how your battery is holding up. All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we're talking about a new side hustle that you can do with your car, and it's not driving for Uber or Lyft. You're on the Kim Komando Show. It's something that you probably never thought about. Okay, you buy a laptop. Did you know that it has a built-in expiration date? Yeah, it does. Okay, you can only use it a certain amount of time before you can't use it anymore. We're going to talk more about that as well as get right back to your phone calls. But first, let's talk about your car and making money. Now, if your car is just sitting in your garage or your driveway, I want you to think about renting it out to tourists this summer, or maybe just someone else who needs a good car for a side hustle. It's a way for you to make money by really doing nothing at all. You see, rather than going the traditional route of renting a car at the airport, a lot of folks are opting for car sharing. They're often cheaper than the car rental companies. And you know what? You get to pick out the exact car that you want. Now, if you list your car for rent on Turo, that's one of those sites, Turo, you keep anywhere from 60 to 90% of the fees collected, depending on the insurance plan that you select. Now, another site that works like Turo is called Get Around. And then don't forget about Uber drivers. They need a fairly recent car. And if you have one that works, Hire Driver is for you. Your take is 75 to 85% of the car's rental fee. So once again, these sites, in case you're walking, you're driving around, Turo, Get Around, and Hire Driver. All right, let's go back to all of your phone calls. Shoshana in Gilbert, Arizona, speaking about money. Glad to have you on board.
My question is, I get a lot of ads on my phone about ways to make money, play this game, and you'll make this much, and so on. And I wanted to know if these types of ads were legit, or if it's just a way to harvest your information and take away your security. So what's your thought on this?
Well, it's hard to know which ones are real and which ones are fake. It's probably a safe bet that all of them are collecting information on you. There are games that say you can make money. There's gambling apps. There's all kinds. You take surveys. And, the bottom line here is that you're not going to make a lot of money doing this. Most people say they're going to make anywhere between, maybe 25 or $50 a month, which, for all the time that you're investing in playing these games, I mean, if you're just sitting there at home doing nothing and it's not important to you to even make any money, I think it might be okay. And that's where you look at something like Swag Bucks or Inbox Dollars, because that's where you can, get points for shopping online, searching the web, playing games, watching videos, whatever it may be. But again, it's nothing that you're going to go, hey, this really is going to make a difference in my house payment this month. And it's just, I don't know if it's really worth it, because you are going to be giving up a lot of your privacy and also, compromising what data they're going to be collecting on you and all that other good stuff. Do you need to make some extra money? Is that the goal?
Well, yes. I've been self-employed, and right now I'm recuperating from a quadruple bypass.
Oh,
and
wow.
we need some extra money, and I'm not able to go out of the house right now. I'm still recuperating. I'm tired, and all those things that would stop me from doing well at a job. So I was wondering about a way to make some extra money at home.
Well, there are ways that you can do this, and you can work on work on whatever hours that you feel up to it. What kind of skills do you have?
Well, sales, basically. I can speak well on the phone. I've got a master's degree in health and nutrition and different things like that.
What I would do, you're educated, you're a self-starter, obviously, okay, is that I would look at a website called Upwork. And at Upwork, that's where people will post jobs that they need on a temporary basis. So maybe somebody would want you to review a business prospectus or a sales plan for a nutrition company. I mean, it really, there are all kinds of positions that are available. And then you tell them how much you're going to charge, how long you think it's going to take. And then it's almost like you bid for the opportunity, you bid for the job. Okay. And as you get more and more jobs, then you get rated by your quote unquote employers, right? And then that's how you get credentials on this service. And so then more people will start seeking you out. So basically what you're going to do is set yourself up as a freelancer. So you put your profile up there, you put a photo, some history, your education, your business sense, some accomplishments that you've had along the way, and then say what type of opportunities that you are looking for. And I bet you'll be surprised at what you can find. I bet you will. And so we're not going to be sitting there taking surveys. No. Mm-mm. It may be something where, like, if you feel up to maybe working an hour a day or 2 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And so you're instead of saying that we're going to make $20 or $50 a month, is that maybe you'll make $50 an hour. Maybe you can make $100 an hour because you have the experience and you have the skill set. And so instead of just wasting your time doing stuff that really isn't going to make a difference, is take a look at Upwork. Now, Shoshana, if what you see there, you're like, oh, Kim, this doesn't really fit what I'm looking for, just, drop me a note back and then we'll talk again and then we'll explore some opportunities. But I'd like you to just check there first. And there are other places you can go to, like Freelance and also Fiverr. There are remote opportunities, temporary opportunities. But, you being self-employed and, like I said, being a self-starter, I bet you'll find some really great opportunities there. Don't forget, Shoshana, I'm here again for you whenever you need me. All right. Do you share your passwords with your spouse, your girlfriend, or your boyfriend? You're not alone. Pew Research, they're a really good, reputable organization. They say that 75% of people in committed relationships here in the U.S. have handed over their smartphone passwords to their partners. But what happens if and when that relationship goes south? Because breaking up is super hard to do, especially if you're sharing passwords. Not to say your ex might go on this digital rampage, so why take the chance? But what is your next move if your ex knows all your passcodes? Okay, not rocket scientists, you need to change all your passwords. We're talking about everything from Hulu to your email, social media accounts, subscriptions, services you both used, Netflix, Amazon Prime. Now, for those of you who went all out on the smart home gadgets, thermostats, lights, security systems, garage doors, Wi-Fi, don't forget to update all of those passwords and settings too, because if your ex had access, you just have to revoke everything. And a lot of people make the mistake and they don't change the password on their router. Okay, make sure that you always do that. And if your ex was especially kind of devious, you want to do a full factory reset on that router just to make sure that they're kicked out for good. All right, still to come, certain laptops have an expiration date. What's that about? I'm going to tell you more, as well as take more of your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, let's talk about podcasts. Okay, I know you're listening on the radio right now, but do you know that I have two podcasts? Number one is the Daily Tech Update. Oh, this thing's growing like crazy. And if you haven't tapped into it, you're missing out. Every single day, you get the top tech news story, and I pass along a digital life hack. That's a tip, trick, or secret to make a difference in your life. So just 2 minutes a day. And then, of course, I throw in some caller questions that I answer on the fly as well. So that's the Daily Tech Update podcast. That's number one. Number two is Kim Komando Today. Kim Komando Today is a 3 times a week, 30-minute podcast, super quick. Get you up to date on all things digital that's happening at that very moment. We throw in some interviews, and then Allie, our amazing content queen, joins us, and Andrew Wabinski, he used to be our call screener. He comes on as well. It's just a fun podcast. And you can also watch us do that podcast live or on demand at youtube.com/Kim Komando. So if you're on YouTube, make sure that you also subscribe to my channel there. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, John in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Great question. Hi there, John.
Well, it used to be you get a lot of emails, and I've learned how to control those, but I'm getting more and more text messages, political mostly. Today I got one from an insurance company that wanted me to get a flu shot, and I chose no, and then they wanted to know why, and then I told them, and then they wanted to say thanks. Is there something out there other than texting stop on each one to just control how many I'm going to get or which ones?
So you mean that do not call registry from the government is not working for you? Oh my gosh. I know. It doesn't work for anybody. Okay. All the spam and the text still comes through. And in case any of our listeners are saying like, what was that? Is that you can just go over to donotcall.gov and put your phone number on the list, but it's not going to stop anything. They can still get through. What kind of phone do you have?
An iPhone.
So on your iPhone, under settings and messages, is you can go, right now there's message filtering, and you can enable filter unknown senders. And then that's going to go into a special folder under your text messages. Now, if you're on Team Android, just for all of our listeners, it varies by make and model, but typically it's going to be in the message app settings. Now, if that does not work for you, John, inside the whole filter unknown senders, is that there are certainly third-party apps that you can get from your cell phone provider. Take a look at that, because all of them are now providing free apps that will limit the spam text from getting through, as well as the spam phone calls. And then you can also take a look at some third-party programs like Truecaller, or RoboKiller, I think is another one. Another one's called Hiya. We have a lot of information about this over on the website. Now, one of the things that you can do is when you start getting all these spam text messages, and keep in mind, if it's political, there's some fine lines there that let the politicians get through. Isn't that a coinky-dinky? But anyway, you can report your spam text to your carrier by forwarding the message to spam, which is 7726 on your phone. So if you get a spam text message, you want to report it to your carrier, just go ahead and forward that. Again, that number is 7726, which spells out spam. If you need more information about these third-party programs, as well as any type of apps that your particular carrier may have, just head over to the website, komando.com, and search for, say, killing spam texts or spam text messages. And I'm sure a tip or two is going to pop right up for you, free for the taking. And John, thank you for your call. All right. Let's see. Jana in Baltimore, Maryland. Hello there, Jana.
So I've been applying for administrative positions for about 6 months now. I use Indeed, LinkedIn, and ZipRecruiter. And most of the jobs, when I go back to the feedback, I see that they have tens, some even hundreds of applicants, and more often than not, the application isn't even viewed. But my experience with ZipRecruiter is that when I apply for a position on that particular website, usually within sometimes even minutes or hours, I receive email or text message saying what a great candidate I am and what great offer they have for me, and to follow this link to schedule interview and do this and this and that. I don't do that because I am suspicious immediately. And I am just wondering if these websites have no verification for the employers to post their job, or is there any way to spot a fake listing other than if it's a direct prompt saying, okay, you submit the resume to this Gmail address? Is there anything I can do? It just seems to be everywhere.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I can tell you that we were a victim of such a fake listing. Somebody had put up like a podcast editor position and then posed as the show, then got people to send them audio recordings, and then actually had had virtual interviews with some of these people. And then they're reaching out to me saying, you know what, how come we're not getting paid? Or if you want us to buy a computer in order for us to work for you, and what's that about? Okay, so it's totally scam. So unfortunately, the job boards, much like Facebook or any other big tech company, they don't vet every single thing that gets posted. So it's up to you to use your common sense and and it's to use your common sense, and it's important to be skeptical because as you find out is that there's a lot of scams out there. So what you want to do is if you see a listing on a job board site that really piques your interest, is go to the company's official website, go to their career page, see if that job is listed there, and then apply directly with the company if you can, then rather going through these job sites. The other thing too is to make sure that you personalize each and every one of your applications, because if people know you're just going to submit it to anything and anything, not really interested in you. But if you can put yourself above the fray and say, this is what I'm good at, this is what you had in the application itself, or pardon me, this is what you had in the job posting itself, because a lot of these are now called ATS, applicant tracking systems. And so when you apply for a job, is that computer is first looking to see how many words are in your resume or in your application as it matches that job description. And if the words are too far apart, then you're not even going to get selected. But you're right. If you get selected like within 10 seconds, it's like, maybe not so much. This is not, I'm a great person, but, the other thing too is that if you're having trouble with these ATSs, there is an insider secret that if you have to submit a resume to any company, is that it probably is going to go through an ATS, is that you take certain words that are in the job description itself, and whatever those words might be that make it unique, and then you take a few of those words and you actually put them in your resume. But here's where the tricky part is when you put those words in your resume, you want to make sure that it's white text so that somebody seeing it they don't see those words, but the ATS system will. So just a little tip for you if you're having trouble getting through the ATS systems, because again, a human is not going to look at your application or resume first. It's just not happening anymore on any size, any major size company. If it's a small company like ours, somebody actually is going to read every single one, but it's still going to have to go through some ATS. So just a little secret for you. Jana, thank you for your call today. I want you to sit back and think, what kind of things have expiration dates, right? What kind of things? Okay. Milk comes to mind, yogurt, right? Cheese, eggs. And what about those cheapo laptops called Chromebooks? Yeah, they have expiration dates too. I bet you didn't know that. You see, Chromebook, first of all, is a catch-all phrase for any laptop, tablet, or device that's running on Google's Chrome operating system. The OS and the apps update automatically. This way, it protects the device with Google's security updates and measures. Now, a Chromebook isn't like run-of-the-mill laptops. They have to really be connected to the internet to get most things done, such as, say, working on a document. I mean, you can work offline, but it really needs to be online. What a lot of people don't know is that Chromebooks have a death date. So if you unknowingly purchase an older Chromebook, support for it could be ending in a few months or maybe in a year or so. Then your Chromebook will stop automatically updating, putting all of your data and information at risk. So before you buy a Chromebook, always ask for the Chromebook's AUE. AUE, Auto Update Expiration Date. And make sure you enter to win that iPhone right now at winfromkim.com.